Hi guys, today I'll be showing you how to replace iPhone 8 Plus battery. If you still have one of these old iPhones lying around and you want to replace the battery, this is the DIY method for you. The link to purchase the battery replacement part and the tools to be used are in the description. You can check them out. Actually, these tools here are included in the package when I bought the battery, so it's free. You just buy the battery and you get the tool for free. So the first thing you need to do is to turn off your device first. Then use one of the screwdrivers provided to remove the two pentalobe screws here. Next, you need to use a suction cup and a pick in order to pry the screen upward. You need to push it in gently in order to cut through the adhesive and also to avoid the damage to the screen. The pick itself is designed not to puncture any cable inside. It will only cut through the adhesive and not the cable. Now we use the pick to cut through the adhesive at the top. Once all the adhesive is cut through, you need to open it from the left, not from the right, because the cable is on the right. You have to open it from the left. Next, you need to remove these 4 screws of the brackets covering the battery, display, and home button cables. Now use the prier tool to remove this cover. Now use the same prier tool to remove the screen, the battery, and the home button cables. Now we need to remove these 2 tri-point screws of the brackets covering the sensor and the front camera cables. Now you can put the bracket aside. Now you can use the prier tool to remove the front camera and the sensor cable. And you can place the screen to the side. Next, you need to remove the adhesive under the battery. You can remove it by peeling the adhesive strip on the side of the battery. But in my case, because I have replaced the battery twice already, and last time I replaced it, it didn't come with the adhesive, so I have to use the double tape to tape the battery to the phone case. So in this situation, there is no adhesive to peel on the side, so I have to inject the alcohol to each corner of the battery to remove it. It becomes like an adhesive removal. You can also do the same if you think removing the adhesive strip takes too long, but make sure that at least it contains 95% alcohol. And after the injection, just leave it for about 10 seconds before you start prying the battery out. Now after about 10 or 15 seconds, you can use the prier tool to pry the battery out, like so. And you can now put the old battery aside. Next, you may need to use a piece of cloth or a tissue to dry the remaining alcohol on your phone housing. So as you can see here, the new battery comes with waterproof screen sealing adhesive. This is our new battery. So we need to peel out the plastic covering the battery. Now, because the battery does not come with the adhesive, so I have to make use of the double tape again to tape at the back of the battery. Now it's time to put the new battery into the phone housing and make sure that the battery aligned correctly so that the battery cable is on top of its slot. And once it is in the position, make sure you also press on it so that the adhesive will stick well with the phone housing. Next, you plug the battery cable back in. So if there is any remaining waterproof screen sealing adhesive, you can also remove it so that you can replace it with a new adhesive. Now you can install the screen back in, and the first thing you need to install is the front camera and sensor cable. Next, you need to install the screen cable and the home button cable. If you want to install the waterproof screen sealing adhesive, you have to do it before you attach the screen back to the motherboard. But in my case, I don't want to do that because this is the old phone. I don't really use it much, only for demonstration purposes. Also, without the adhesive, it's easier to pry the screen up when you want to replace a new battery. But if this is your main phone, you may want to install the adhesive first. Now let's test if every cable is connected properly by turning on the phone. If the Apple logo boots up, it means every cable is installed properly. Now as you can see, the Apple logo boots up. It means we have successfully installed the battery. Let's wait for it to boot up to home screen. Then we have to shut it down and screw everything back into place. And finally, we will check the battery in the settings. And now as you can see, everything appears to be working as normal, so we have to shut it down and then finish our installation process. We'll start by putting back the bracket covering the front camera and the sensor cable. Next is the bracket covering the screen, the home button, and the battery cables. Now let's finish it off by putting the screen back into the phone. And the final touch is to screw back the two pentalobe screws here. And now we're done. Let's turn the phone on to check the battery in the settings. So we go to settings and then we scroll down to battery and click on battery health. As you can see, the maximum capacity is now 100%.